You may be seated as we reflect to this music. My name is Richard, and I want to welcome you here, those that are in the chapel and the funeral home this morning, and those who are joining us by live stream, as we've gathered to remember and honor a remarkable man, Jeff Markle. We're going to hear from those who knew and loved him. They're going to come and share and remind us of who Jeff was and just how much he loved us and we loved him. I had an opportunity to sit down with Sherry and Aaron and Ben the other day, and I got to know the man that they called husband, daddy, and pop. Jeff was, well, everything to them. He challenged them to be the best that they could be. He made them laugh. I think he made everyone laugh. Or at least you'd shake your head at him in great disbelief that he'd actually used his outside voice. Pickup hockey star. Just ask him. King of outrageous t-shirts. Now really, who wears a t-shirt that says farts feel good? Well, the one and the only Jeff Markle does. I think he had those printed just for him, didn't he? Yeah. See, the one and the only. Jeff loved to fish, almost as much as he liked to breakfast and lunch out, followed by barbecue for dinner. If Jeff planned a meal, it was really easy for him. Protein. Nothing more, nothing less, just protein. But I'm sure you're going to hear more about that shortly. Jeff was a very successful person, first in the geothermal field, attaining what would be described as an unparalleled knowledge of that technology, and he made significant contributions to the industry. In 2007, he founded Markle Heating and Cooling, and that business flourished. We have to remember something, though, about business. Businesses are people. It flourished because of Jeff. His integrity, his skill, his experience in the business, but most of all, it flourished because of the way he treated, well, all of you, but in this context, his customers. He was super dependable, wasn't he? I heard stories about the phone call coming Sunday evening and drop everything and go. Or better yet, talk the client through how to just fix that little issue. Super dependable. He was honest, and he treated people with respect. You know, I've learned that people will often forget what you say. They might even forget what you've done for them. But people will never forget how you make them feel. Well, Jeff was truly great at how he made people feel. He made them laugh. He put a smile on your face, and you will never forget him for that. At this time, I'd like to invite Jennifer Collins, a good friend of Sherry's and Jeff's, to come now and share with us Sherry's words about the husband. Yes, you can remove your mask while you're speaking.
When I met Jeff, he talked about a castle in Scotland, owning a Porsche, and talked about Freedom 35. He seemed perfect. When he picked me up on our first date, he had a beat-up beige Chevy pickup, and after he opened the door for me, his arms quickly reached out to sweep all the empty coffee cups and garbage onto the floor. He sure knew how to impress a girl. Jeff met my parents early in our relationship, and on the very first night, my dad commented that he looked familiar. Jeff was quick to put his hands behind his back like he was in handcuffs and said, "Does this help?" He was an instant hit. What other guy would agree to have his in-laws move in? In fact, I think that was Jeff's idea. Well, a name, a son-in-law, the bond between Jeff and my parents is hard to describe. Jeff would say someone had to teach my dad how to do stuff. But he valued your time together, easy laughter, crib games, and hanging around the garage and yard. Dad, you were a fantastic mentor, friend, and father to Jeff. Mom, while Chris and I joke I'm the favorite, it is quite possible Jeff slid into that role. Your market trips or special treats or meals planned around him made him feel special and loved. He loved spending time with both of you, and our trips to Gillies and those trips to Legion and Tobermory were his favorites. Thank you for loving him like he was your own. He was proud of his work in the geothermal business and worked with many people across Canada. From drilling in Kelowna to sales trips in Newfoundland, many ground source heat pumps were installed. He was most comfortable and happy running his own business with Markle Heating and Cooling. Jeff was the guy to call at any time for anything. He's talked and directed many people over the phone how to check or fix a problem, but also the guy that would drop anything to go and help to fix it himself. Jeff's work crew is a fantastic team, and there's never any doubt they will continue to work hard and manage when Jeff was unable to get back to the office. Deep and sincere appreciation to Scott, Nick, Ryan, and Jen. Thank you for continuing to keep Markle out on the road and providing outstanding service that everyone has come to expect. I'm sure many in the room today have been fortunate to have a Jeff Markle service call. I'm also sure there are a few ladies with funny and fond memories of some of those service calls. He's declared himself the pool boy, bearskin rug fireplace fixer, and overall hottest heat pump guy around. And with that devilish grin, he always say, "They want me." Oh, who wouldn't want you, husband? I'm sure only Jeff could get away with answering the question, "What do you do for a living?" with a blanket statement of, "I'm in heat." Jeff lived life with enthusiasm and was the best impulsive buyer around. If it brought joy, Jeff wanted it and got it. Or if something broke, it was easier just to buy a new one. Of course, the best purchase and most famous was his fire truck. It's for work was the story he told me. However, I'm pretty sure that fire truck made many social visits, and some here were lucky to have him spray water over your house into the backyard, or just yell in the microphone to evacuate. Of course, things like a convertible '69 Chevy Impala, many fishing boats and dinghies, hot tubs, snowmobiles, a Harley, a drone, one John Deere tractor, and then the need to get a bigger and better tractor. Our first home together on Lane Crescent, the basement was a playground, complete with weight room, pool table, an old school pop machine converted to a beer dispenser, and a sunk into the foundation hot tub. The laughs and memories from Five Lang were very special times for us, and we joked about how fortunate we all are that social media was not around in those days. I hope heaven is ready and prepared to have Tusker and Fred reunited up there. Jeff made friends everywhere he went. He was one of those guys who was hard not to like. With some of his T-shirts he wore, they definitely opened the door to conversations and laughs. He was never the loud and in-your-face kind of guy. He would sit back and watch, and then pipe in with a zinger or one-liner, and he would laugh for hours when he thought he had made a funny one. He was the king of GIFs and memes. Once he learned how to attach photos and clips, a lot of us would regularly receive something funny, weird, offside, or just something that brought him a smile. That was Jeff, to love and to enjoy. Very rare for him not to meet a prime steak he didn't love. The breakfast or lunch meetings, while it may have been about the food, it was truly about spending time with people he loved. Jeff's most proud accomplishments are his children, Aaron and Ben. He took pride and worked hard to ensure our family never went without. He was the dad and type of uncle that was always on the floor playing with the kids, tickling or bugging, and very likely a sweet treat of some sort would appear before long. He beamed with pride watching Aaron play Team Canada ringette at the international level, and what dad could not be proud of his son Ben, with the hardest hockey shot and then the hardest hitter in lacrosse and football. As a husband and wife, we were a perfect fit. While Jeff ran to Ben hockey, Aaron and I were off to ringette. While we were a busy family full of activities and calendar events, we always were a team, and we like to think we were remarkable. We made time and enjoyed being the two of us. Our quiet coffee mornings will be missed. As our kids have grown into young adults, we were getting excited for our next chapter in life. I will miss you, husband, more than words can say. Our travels to the sunny south, watching you head out on a fishing boat, or listening to your incredible hockey skill stories, and how you always manage to score that goal that will be talked about for years to come. Over these last couple of months, regardless of how difficult they were, I fell in love with you more. You are and always have been remarkable to me. I will cherish our memories and our time together. With each sunrise and each sunset, you are with me, Aaron and Ben, and you will live in our hearts forever. We love your guts.
Thanks so much, Sherry, for sharing those words with us through Jennifer. Next up, we have Chris Herget, one of Jeff's many friends.
Good morning. Jeffrey, remarkable. It's impossible to say without a smile on our face. I tried several times this morning. I think all of us in the room would say that Jeff Markle is our favorite guy. And today I stand before you as one of the luckiest ones and one of his very closest friends. I am truly honored to share Jeff's stories with you. Jeff has many friends, and we all have our special moments with him in so many different instances. Regardless of who you are, I'm sure there are moments you can recall special connections that you had with him and the warm welcome you would have received running into him. Jeff and I cemented our relationship many years ago with Ben and Tyson playing hockey together and lacrosse. Between spring field, summer box, fall field, and a full winter hockey schedule, Jeff and I were together 3 to 4 times a week. I remember being devastated by the news that Ben made the AAA team. And Ty got cut. And I remember thinking, I don't give a shit about Ty. What am I going to do without the Markles for a year? Nevertheless, Benny got cut the next season, and all was well. After getting to know each other over a short 15-year friendship, I was always amazed at how many stories I would hear about Jeff in our drives, whether it was to the field or to the rink. I remember driving with him on more than one occasion and saying, "Are you shitting me? Like, when did you do that? Like, how old are you? Like 150 years old?" And it just never stopped. Stories of being a butcher, stories of having a Porsche, stories of rolling the Porsche, past business in geothermal industry and all his developments he made in that industry, having a business. Losing a business. Friends with Peter and young Jeff, and all the boat building days. Scuba diving for logs. Scuba diving for logs that are 100 years old for money. I don't know who does that. The house on Lang. The stories are endless. Freddie Krupp, Tommy Krupp, Randy Roach, the ultimate blind guy. Stories probably that we can't talk about. I know Randy told me one story specifically that Randy's vision impaired didn't stop Jeff from including him and having some fun with beer frisbee, of course. They painted everything fluorescent orange so that Randy was able to participate. It's still his favorite game. All the hockey stories. Kevin and Brad Herget, hockey, hockey, hockey. Tuesday, Wednesday, Sunday, subs, spare, full-time, 3-on-3, 4-on-4, 5-on-5, tournament teams, 50 years old and still traveling for hockey to get a medal with Teddy. And of course, Friday night hockey. I think the only reason he played Friday night hockey was so he could get up to Gillies Lake for our year-end party. Jeff played it all, and he wanted more. I think you could learn something from this, Stevie. All the fishing stories. Fishing, fishing, fishing. I think Jeff had a boat in every marina, in every lake in Ontario. I remember Tyson one day was fortunate enough for Jeff to take him up north, salmon fishing. And they fished all day. They downrigged, and Ty came home. He's just a little guy. And I remember him saying, "Dad, I don't think Jeff really knows how to fish. We didn't catch anything." I said, "That's fishing, pal." Jeff's t-shirts. I'm not sure, but Trishy and I may be to blame. I don't know when it started, but my pen is huge. It was purchased on our vacation, and I remember pulling it on the rack, and we were going through it, and I'll never forget it. It's like I was there yesterday, all these crazy shirts, and we laughed and giggled, and finally we said, who the heck is going to wear one of these shirts? Light bulb. Jeff Markle. I'm like, we have to buy this shirt. We bought that shirt. We brought it home. He wore it for years. He wore the, pardon my French, he wore the shit out of that thing. But that wasn't enough for Jeff. When he put that shirt in retirement, he didn't turn it into a rag. He didn't frame it. No. He took it to Bernie, his dad, and gave it to him in the old folks' home. So Bernie could proudly wear that "My Pen is Huge" shirt in his wheelchair for all the ladies to see. Eventually, Jeff started his most successful business, Markle Heating. Because of all Jeff's hard work, Markle Heating is alive and well today, and will continue as such. Probably not a good time, but we are having a special on this week. For any purchase of an air conditioner or furnace, you get 2 free filters. And those suckers are expensive, because I think that was half the deal. You get a good deal on the furnace and air conditioner, and then furnaces are $70 a pop. And you could only get them from Jeff. Jeff and I had many conversations over the years about what made each of our businesses successful and how to keep them on track. Even with the success of Markle Heating, Jeff always had new things, of new ways how to get ahead and other business ideas. I remember one day he showed up at the rink and he had made lacrosse and hockey cards. The boys in their young age had trouble remembering what was in their bags, and I don't know how many times we'd have to run home or double check. So Jeff came up with this great idea to make cards for the kids that listed all their equipment, top to bottom, everything they needed, and he was going to sell them. It's going to be a great idea. We were all going to be rich. Well, he made them, and of course they didn't sell, and we had pockets of them. So in his goodwill, he decided, let's not sell them, let's give them to the kids. I remember being at Iroquois Park, and there's thousands of kids, and he's got pockets of these things. And he just starts handing them out, and of course, free shit, kids are running everywhere, and parents are watching, and I'm going, Markle, you're going to get us friggin' arrested. What are you doing? The hockey equipment kiln. Another beautiful idea. We worked so hard on this. We were going to go into business together. Jeff did all the work. He designed the system. He had it made. He had it approved. He had a CSA approved. We made them. I think Jeff and I are the only people on the planet that actually use them. By the way, if you do purchase a furnace and air conditioner, we're going to throw in a hockey equipment kiln as well. It was an amazing concept. It just never sold. Even when COVID hit, he had started to conceptualize making a separate air filtration system. I was at the house. We talked about it. We had a nice chat. This is the next big winner. I went home, made myself a tea, sat down in front of the TV to see the next commercial of your own internal filtration system, UV light system. I took a picture of it, sent it to Jeff, texted it to him, and he responded back, let's make masks. One of my best business conversations that I've ever had regarding business with Jeff was when he told me his accountant has done his year end and he could no longer claim breakfast 7 days a week, 365 days a year. The CRA is going to come knocking. And he was so upset. He's like, what the heck? Oh, shit. Pardon little ears. The sons of bitches. That's our roll call. Some of the greatest friends, riding some of the nicest Harley Davidsons you've ever seen. Jeff joined our crew late with his beautiful Road King 2009 black. I remember it was almost like my birthday. Remember he surprised me with it? And you? They rode over to the house like it was my friggin' birthday because I wanted him to be around so much. And we celebrated, and it was a wonderful experience. Well, once the Sons of Bitches was created, Jeff went all in. He built us a clubhouse. He had everything in that clubhouse. We had a bar, a fridge, a TV. We had a full living room. We had a full dining room. We had a record player. We'd spin vinyl. We loved it. It was just fantastic. Jeff even made rules for the clubhouse. The wives were allowed, I think after 11, but they had the only way they could get in is if they were topless. They never showed up. I remember hearing Erin was in our clubhouse one time. I went, "Oh my God, what is she doing? She's not topless, is she?" Oh. Eventually, Jeff decided he only liked riding if it was 25 degrees, sunny, no rain, no wind, between the hours of 8 a.m. and 10 a.m., and on a full stomach. Jeff loved his Harley. He loved washing it, putting all his gadgets on it. He loved starting it up. He loved revving it up. He didn't like riding that thing at all. Not one bit. There's wind and bugs and dust. Eventually, Jeff sold his wonderful machine. But he never quit the club. Instead, he would meet us for breakfast in his truck, host all our gatherings. Not just host them, he'd cook for us. He'd have everything ready. He'd have beer in the fridge. He took care of us. This led to his new club name, Gemma. Jeff was also our club photographer. Jeff took pleasure in the fact that after a few years, Shane and I may have done something silly on Ian's motorcycle, and he decided to take some pictures. But he didn't stop there. He had them printed on 8x10 and hung them on the wall of the clubhouse. I think at one point he was going to secretly make a calendar for charity for the sons of bitches. I could tell you stories for days about our wonderful friendship, and I'll continue to honor him by telling those stories, as I'm sure all of you will. Having a friend that can make you smile from ear to ear just by entering the room, then to say something so offside, you'd be in stitches for hours. And Sherry would just say, "Oh, husband." Jeff was a friend that would do anything for you at the drop of a hat. All of this with a moral compass and compassion, making you a better person. I've always told my kids, find a friend who makes you a better person. And Jeff was that guy, and I'm a better person for it. The last few months were some of the most challenging of our lives, and I'm fortunate to have the privilege to be there for Jeff, Aaron, and Ben, and Ian and Mar. If there is ever an urgency of any kind at the Harrogate House, and there's been a few, Jeff was always the first guy in the door. He didn't call, he didn't text, he showed up, gave me a hug, and said, "Are you okay?" Jeff did ask me, Jeff did ask me one day to say he received all your messages. And over the last several months, he may not have responded, but he did want to say he appreciated them. And then he asked me to let him roll down the hill by himself in his wheelchair so he could have some freedom. I managed to chase after him and save him from going into the wall, and he loved every minute of it. Jeffrey Remarkable, you are a dear friend to all, and an inspiration, and we love you for it. Thank you.
Thank you, Chris. And now for Brother Ted, maybe we'll learn a little bit more about Jeff's much earlier years.
Hi, everyone. I was going to start off with a prop, but it's at the back of the room, so I'll just pretend that I have it anyways. Pretend I have a hockey stick in my hands. Dangle, snipe, celly. So dangle, snipe, celly. You want to know what a flourishing life looks like? A life far too short, but exceptionally well lived? I invite you to look at how Jeff Markle did dangle, snipe, and celly through life. So for those of you not familiar with the terms, they refer to the stages of scoring an exhilarating goal in Jeff's second favorite pastime, right after fishing, hockey. To dangle, you skate, stick handle, and deke the pants off your opponent. To snipe, you shoot the puck and bury it behind a helpless goaltender. And to celly, you raise your arms, you hug your teammates, you ride your stick like Tiger Williams, you toss your gloves and jump in the air like Mike Foligno. Dangle. How Jeff could dangle. On the barbecue, in the hot tub, socializing with family and friends. Nobody dangled like my brother. Perhaps he loved to dangle because, in a sense, to dangle is to feed the senses. And Jeff was a sensuous man. And by that, I mean no one embraced the joy of life's simple pleasures more than Jeff. The feeling of the ideal hot tub temperature, with jets on, of course. The sight of a sunrise on Gillies Lake exploding in color. The sound of the crowd at a rink cheering on Aaron and Ben. The smells and tastes of his smoker making the world's best ribs, brisket or bacon, and sharing his delicious creations with friends and family. Jeffy wrote the book on how to dangle, in the living, in the tissue of every day and hour. And yes, I think I would be remiss if I didn't also acknowledge that maybe not as often as he used to, and not as fancy as he imagined, Jeff could dangle on the ice as well. Snipe? Well, Jeff took aimed and sniped at top shelf where Mama keeps the peanut butter. Not that he ever put any of that stuff on his toast. As a sniper, Jeff was deadly accurate. He knew what he wanted and went and got it. I remember after he met Sherry, the very next time we were together, "She's the one," he said to me with his sniper killer smile. And that twinkle in his eye you only ever saw when he spoke of family or had a trophy-winning bass on the line. You see, to snipe, you've got to have good hands. Jeff had the calloused hands of an honest day's work. Ask anyone. No one did better work or was more fun to work with. Values he imparted to the crew at Markle Cooling and Heating, and they continue his mission. He had the healing hands of a loving father and husband. Jeff's embrace conveyed more affection, passion, and empathy than any words could ever do. He had the firm and warm hand of a trusted friend. A handshake from Jeff was not an empty gesture. It was his word, and you could take Jeff's word to the bank. And I suppose from time to time, on the ice, he also had the soft hands of a goal scorer. They say that Jesus saves, but in tight, Jeff always scored on the rebound. And as for the celly, is there anyone with whom you'd rather celebrate? Jeff knew how to rejoice, with hilarious jokes, gags, one-liners, obscene t-shirts, you name it, with food, friends, music, and dance, if that's what you want to call it. As Cousin John recently remarked, it didn't matter if you were working or fishing or partying. If Jeff said, "Do you want to come along?" you got in the truck. You're going to have a good time. That smile of his, more contagious than the Delta variant. As he walked down the hallway in his skin-tight Maple Leafs onesie, knowing how the hotel room would erupt in laughter the moment he entered. If Jeff is there, it's a far better time. And if both Jeff and Sherry are there, well, let's just say that makes for the best shooters and the best cellies. In the past several weeks, Jeff knew what was to come, and he took the time to give me dozens of messages in person and by text, with instructions, directives, jokes, and some things he asked me to say on his behalf. So I'd like to share a few of these with you now. Tender ears, please, be forewarned. On his beloved Maple Leafs during this year's heartbreaking playoffs, the fuckers better get their shit together. On my own cooking and our brotherly barbecue rivalry, apparently you have really inspired us, from brisket to homemade bacon to sticking things up a chicken's ass. You are an inspiration. To his in-laws, Ian and Marlene, I could not have asked for more love and support. Thank you for everything. Ian, you're like the father I never had, who taught me plumbing, how to drive a tractor, construction, home repairs. Oh, no, wait a minute. That was me teaching you. To the BMO fishing gang, it's my favorite weekend of the year. I love you all. Just a moment. To Benjamin, there's no way I could express how proud I have been of you your entire life. I'm so sorry we will not have more time to spend together. Seeing you mature into the young man you are now, and your selection of friends and support people around you, gives me comfort in knowing that you are on the right path to have a happy future. Ben, I expect you to give your mother a hug and kiss every week from me. Love you so much. XO, Dad. To his family, there's a fly on my head. I feel like Mike Pence in a press conference. Except I'm not a sycophant. When Aaron and Ben were small, they got this idea in their heads that I was Superman. Ben would carry a picture of Superman around, asking the babysitter and others to kiss it. Aaron wondered if she had my powers too, even trying to jump down the stairs to see if she could fly. I had to break her heart, letting her know that she did not inherit my superpowers. But the truth is, Aaron, you both did. There's just a secret to unleashing the superpowers. You need a cape. You can't be a superhero without a cape. Your mother is my cape. And together, you and Ben will both have superpowers. You all know I'm not a very religious person, so I'm not looking down at you from heaven. But there is a special place for superheroes, and I'm watching you from there. Might be keeping a little extra eye on you, Ben. Life is a leap of faith. Spread your arms, hold your breath, and always trust your cape. That's my brother who wrote that. I couldn't be prouder of him. So what are we to do now and going forward? We remember him, and we aspire to dangle, snipe, and selly, just like Jeff showed us. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Ted. And thank you for sharing Jeff's words. You know, when someone we love dies, we're faced with trying to understand one of life's greatest mysteries, especially when they die at a young age and from an illness like cancer. I believe the following words are a way of looking at death that we may find some comfort in and may make it just a little easier to accept. The author A.A. Milne penned these words: "If ever there is a tomorrow when we're not together, there's something you must always remember. You are braver than you believe, stronger than you seem, and smarter than you think. But the most important thing is, even if we're apart, I'll always be with you." From the play Superheroes Watch Over Us. Let me come back to that thought in a moment. A little bit of my story. My father died when I was 22. He was 48. He fell off a ladder and landed on his head. I even recall to this day getting into the car to go somewhere shortly after his death. Of course, the radio was on, tuned to my favorite station. They were playing a happy song, A happy song? I shut the radio off. Didn't they know that this wasn't a happy day? Didn't they know how sad I was? Didn't they know that my dad had just died? Well, of course they didn't know any of that. They didn't know what I was feeling. They didn't know that my hero wasn't here anymore. That I was sad, angry, disoriented, and the tender ears have already been attuned. I was pissed off all at once. How could this have happened? I have never answered that question. But from time to time, I'm sad and angry about my dad's early passing, even now. And what I've learned is that he is always with me. I told you I'd come back to that point. My family see my dad in me. I see my dad in my brothers. I can even hear him say, "I'm proud of you, son, and I love you." Your dad, Aaron and Ben, as we've just heard, so incredibly proud of both of you. I know you know that, but I want you to hear that. He thought the world of both of you. He encouraged you, while in his own special way, to create and become your best selves. And you've done that. And you will continue to grow and evolve into an even better self in the years to come. He taught you both so very, very much. Ben, I would have loved to have been there when you smoked your dad playing hockey. I'm willing to bet just about anything that you didn't hold back and you nailed him good, didn't you? Yeah. I feel pretty certain that all he wanted to do was get to the bench where he could shake it off without you seeing it. But there was the biggest smile on his face, and he would have said to himself, "That's my boy. I taught him how to do that, and boy, he does it real good." Aaron, Daddy was your biggest cheerleader, and he'd be taking credit for showing you how to put the ring on the top shelf. But I know he beamed whenever he saw you on the ice, representing your country, playing with the absolute best in the world, and beating them. And by the way, Aaron, you've never embarrassed the family name. Your dad taught you a lifetime of lessons in your short time with him. I think Aaron said it best the other day when we had a chance to get to know one another. Daddy will influence everything I do for the rest of my life, and I'm going to add in a good way. Sherry, from that first steak, and we know it was just steak, to the last fishing trip a couple of weeks ago, it's been quite an adventure, hasn't it? A sunken hot tub, a fire truck, boats, holidays, having to cheer for the Leafs with a man who wears a onesie, building a business, Sunday, Tuesday, Wednesday, I think I even heard Friday night hockey, to those impulse buys and gifts from Santa to Jeff under the tree. There is one remarkable memory after another. The best 28 years you could ever ask for. This last week has been one of the toughest you will ever live. So there's a couple of things I want to share with you from my journey that helped me to restore some joy in my life. First, it's absolutely okay to cry, anytime and anywhere. You see, that sadness that you feel is really just love with no place to go now. It gathers in the corners of your eyes and the lump in your throat, in the center of your chest. It's all the love you want to share, and he's not here to share it with anymore. Just let it out. It's okay. Next thing is laugh when you can. He left you lots of opportunity for that. You've spent the better part of 28 years laughing, or at least shaking your head at the man and asking, did he really say that out loud? Laugh when you can, and as often as you can. This last part's a little bit for everybody. You just need to be there for one another. You know, sometimes we feel awkward because we don't know what to say. News alert! You don't have to say a darn thing. Just be present and in the moment with one another. That's what family and true friends do for one another. They're just there when you need them. So just before we watch a video that honors Jeff's life, I want to highlight one more thing about Jeff that we could do. We would be as happy and successful, and I'm not necessarily talking about business success, if we could learn just this one thing from Jeff and make it a part of us. Jeff created great relationships. He knew how to treat people. He knew how to make people laugh and smile. And he created a happy moment for everyone he met every day. If we could do the same, how much better would the world around us be? How much happier would the world be? But most importantly, how much happier would we be? Please watch this video. And as you do, remember a truly remarkable man, Jeff Markle. Sherry and the family, thank you all for joining with us this morning and for all the love and support that you have shown and poured out to them in the last week and days. We'd like to invite everyone to join for a time of food and fellowship at the Knights of Columbus Centre at 145 Dearborn Place here in Waterloo. And we'd encourage you to head over there to support the family immediately following the service this morning.
I've been down this road before. I remember every tree, every single blade of grass holds a special place for me. And I remember every town and every hotel room, every song I ever sang on a guitar out of tune. I remember everything, things I can't forget. The way you turned and smiled on me on the night that we first met. And I remember every night your ocean eyes are blue. How I miss you in the morning light, like roses miss the dew. I've been down this road before, alone as I can be. Careful not to let my past go sneaking up on me. Got no future in my happiness, though regrets are very few. Sometimes a little tenderness was the best that I could do. I remember everything, things I can't forget. Swimming pools of butterflies, and slip back to the